Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, everybody? You're tuning into another episode of the Wonderkind Morning Show. And of course, you already know that today's a very special day because we have a very special somebody here. A man who takes pride in not just his reporting, but has laid the groundwork for growth in the media community. You've heard of him, 105.7. Name starts with a C, ends in an N. But I want to make sure that proudly welcome, Mr. Cordell Woodland to the Wonderkind Morning Show. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Appreciate you having me today.
Yo, I'm so happy that you came on, man. I'm still smiling. First, let me get to everybody in the chat. Say good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Hopefully everybody is safe, sound, having a very blessed and safe morning. This is some of the people that come on. What's up, Will I Am, King Blaze, Tactical Precision. Good morning, good morning. Zanger, good morning. How you doing? How you doing? Glad you're at Raven C, my boy. How you doing? Everybody's here. Ashley Shelton, good morning. How are you doing? God bless. Abdi, I see you, man. I see you. Chris, Game Too Easy. How y'all doing this morning? How y'all doing? Driz, LH. How y'all doing? King Lee. How y'all doing, man? Hopefully everybody is safe and sound. We're going to get this thing started with Mr. Cordell Woodland. And can you introduce yourself too also, Mr. Woodland, as you go on, please?
Yeah, I'm the 105.7, the fan station's beat reporter for the Ravens and the Orioles. I co-host evening show usually on Thursday nights. Not this Thursday, obviously it's a game that I'll be at, but the Fresh Take with my co-host Ben Hall, who does a great job. He's the producer for Inside Access from 2 to 6, but Ben knows his stuff. So I think we make a pretty good team on our evening show as well. So you never know when you'll hear me on the station. Tomorrow I'm filling in on the Big Bad Morning Show with Ed Norris. So you'll be hearing me pretty early tomorrow morning.
Hey, this man putting in work, man. I like that. Man. I like that. One of the things that you've been doing that has gotten a lot of people kind of buzzing has been your training camp updates. I think that it's just coming on with the updates with you with the phone and giving a live update with what's going on. It's been pretty much been going kind of crazy on Twitter. What is your thoughts thus far on Ravens training camp, and where do you see it going further or into the future with some of the players?
Yeah, so far so good. I think when you talk about training camp, and especially a team like the Ravens who have the roster that they have, the aspirations that they have this season, it's about getting out of training camp as healthy as possible. And they've had some nicks and knacks here recently. The most recent one is Kyle Hamilton, who looked like he tweaked his groin. What's today? Today's Wednesday, so I would say probably Monday, because he didn't practice yesterday. But Monday, it looked like he had tweaked his groin. I couldn't tell at first. I was wondering if it was a cramp, but I didn't see anybody like bringing him anything to drink or anything like that. So he was favoring it, and he never went back into practice. And like I said, he didn't practice yesterday with the Colts. So, I would assume that that's what he's dealing with right now. John said yesterday it's nothing serious. They kept him out for precautionary reasons, which is fine. And that's a part of camp. You're going to get some of those. Zay Flowers missed a day. Jair Alexander missed a day. And I know everybody's always looking at him to see when he's not going to be on the field because of his injury history. Yeah. But that's a part of camp. So I think that's the biggest thing for them is just to get out of camp healthy, because they have some good young players, and a few of them will make impacts, guys like Mike Green, Malachi Starks. I think Tez Walker will have a bigger role this year than he did last year. Not to say he'll be out there a lot, but you didn't see Tez until the Giants game last year. I don't think it'll take that long to see him. Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he'll be like second or third on the team in receiving. I wouldn't look for that. It's just too many other mouths to feed. But he's having a good camp. But yeah, I think that's really what it's about for the Ravens. Just fine-tuning, staying as healthy as possible, and getting some of these back into the roster guys as many reps as you can in these preseason games.
You bring up because Tez, I laughed because I was like, man, people have been just really, really high on Tez Walker. They say he has the speed, 4.3 speed. He has the size and the strength to make impact, even when he's doing, his digs, out routes, being able to, shrug off being pushed out of bounds on the sideline, boundary line, stuff like that. But the speed to really break open an offense, to threaten safeties in the middle of the field. Do you see that level of playmaking in training camp, or are people just talking about him in hyperbole?
Nah, I'm gonna be honest. He's definitely been impressive and it's been consistent, and it
Good.
hasn't really just been training camp for me. For me to put stock into it, I have to have seen it for a nice amount of time, and it can't be one of those deals where, all right, Tez has a great practice day and then the next day he's dropping everything. He's not making some of the tough catches that he's made to this
Yeah.
point in camp. It hasn't really been that. He's been consistent with the way that he's looked in each of these practices, and it looks like Lamar is gaining confidence with him. He's gaining trust in him, and that's a big step for any receiver that's trying to get in the game and get the ball. You got to have your quarterback be able to believe in you. And so far, it looks like Lamar does. I think Tez is definitely using his speed and even the threat of his speed to help win in some of these battles. When I see him and look, it's tough to play corner. Jair, I think, is having a great camp himself.
Yeah.
But he's everywhere, to his credit. Jair doesn't run from any smoke. So if it's one-on-ones, he's the type of dude that he'll get a rep and then he'll try to jump back in line. So he has a lot of action come his way because he's always involved. And Tez has done a really good job against Jair Alexander in camp so far, and other guys as well, but specifically Alexander, because he's a really good press corner.
Yeah.
And he jams you at the line. I've seen him jam a couple of these dudes and they don't even get off the line.
Ooh.
But
so hold on, you've seen him straight
I gotta find it in my notes, but it was a rep where I don't want to be wrong and name a guy and it wasn't him. I'd have to find it in my notes because I definitely wrote it down. But it was definitely a rep where he jammed a receiver and he didn't get off the line in that rep. So he's a strong dude. He doesn't look like it. He's smaller in stature than I thought, but he's actually pretty strong at the line of scrimmage. But Tez has a couple of reps where he fights him off even after getting initially jammed and works his way back to the ball, completes the catch. So those are the types of things you want to see from a young receiver, a guy that's willing to fight throughout the rep and be able to have strong enough hands to finish.
Man, listen, man. I know I'm quite animated, but you got me smiling because I like hearing that my corner's got that Honda going. You know what I mean? Right. Press hand to the face. When you see that, does that from your perspective take the cornerback room, the DB room, you know what I'm saying, to another level? Because are you only seeing Jair being able to say, look, one-on-one, you're not going nowhere? Or the other corners like Wiggins, you know what I'm saying, and them stepping up saying, nah, you ain't gonna show me up. Like, you just got here. Like, we fitting to go at this, you know what I'm saying? What is that from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of jamming at the line, he's the best jam corner they have. I'll say that. He's definitely the best press corner they have right now. I haven't seen anybody else consistently be able to hold these dudes up at the line of scrimmage. So I'll give him that. But I do think his impact on the secondary room has been really good. Obviously, he's got a really loud personality. He's constantly celebrating his reps. He'll celebrate other people's reps too. Other DBs, even the offensive guys. I've seen him dap up DeAndre Hopkins more. Those two guys have been battling all camp.
Well, they went against each other a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and that's that goes along with what I was saying about Jair not running from smoke. He'll get a rep and then he'll jump up there and try to go up against DeAndre. Like he wants the work. But I do think it's rubbing off on the secondary. You already see it with guys like Nate Wiggins. Nate who came in confident last year, but it was more of a quiet confidence. And he's still a quiet guy, but you're going to see a lot more of the celebrating, I think, from those dudes. Jair is going to bring it out. And I don't know about Hamilton. I asked Hamilton if we could see more celebrations from him because of Jair. Said probably not, but definitely with the corners, Marlon and Nate and those guys, I would definitely anticipate them being a little more louder after they make plays.
Well, funny how you said being a little more outspoken, judging how yesterday there were reports that Nate Wiggins was showing people, you know what I'm saying, his best impersonation of Sugar Ray Leonard. What was your perspective? Like, was he hitting anybody with the Shoryuken? Did he get a couple in? Like, was he representing? Like, how well did he do?
I mean, those fights end as quickly as they begin. So this one, it initially started between Goodson and Keon Martin. Those two had exchanged like a punch each. And then Nate came out of nowhere and threw a punch. He also caught a punch too. So he caught one as he came in, but he also threw one at the same time. And from there, you got everybody from both teams rushing in. So you can't even see anything anymore. And then 10 seconds later, everything's broken up. And I ended up seeing him walking inside by himself. So that let me know he was thrown out of practice. John told us it wasn't even him that threw him out. He said it was the ref that threw him out. He also said the other guy, which I'm assuming he's talking about, Tyler Goodson, I believe his first name is Tyler, said that he was thrown out as well. I didn't see Goodson leave the field, but I'm not necessarily locked in on what is happening with them. I'm looking more so at the Ravens side of things, but I definitely saw Nate go in, and for a while he's sitting there looking like he's in detention watching practice. You could see him, and then after a couple minutes later, I think he kind of just got fed up of just sitting there watching it, so he left. But definitely a learning experience for him, and it's easy to get caught up in the emotions when in these joint practices where you're finally seeing a team for the first time that's not yours. Those types of things are going to happen. To be honest with you, I thought they did a really good job yesterday containing the fights. That was really the only one. It was another minor one that really didn't go anywhere. And even the one that this big fight that happened, that was maybe like 30 to 45 minutes into practice. So they had done a really good job of kind of, putting the work first over throwing jabs.
Curtailing egos. Man, listen, as long as Lamar, it was on the sideline and I tried to get his couple shots in, I'm good. Because, know, that arm and shoulder, that's gold right there, man. That's platinum. We can't get number 8.
I think he knows he can't get anywhere near that.
Nah, you can't. As long as there was no arms, stuff like that. If he wanted a dragon kick, I'd be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? But the arms, now we need that third arm, bro. Please.
Right. You need them legs too.
Facts. Oh, funny how you said that. See, I love talking to people like you because you parlay into things so well. O-line. There's been a lot of worry about the O-line. Guys have been worried about Falele, of course, Voorhees. The lack of Emory Jones, I believe his name is Emory Jones. Yeah, him not being able to practice because of his. And of course, Ben Cleveland still not being able to beat out anybody, even though a lot of people have said in game situations he's looked better in the guard position than who we have. What is your take on the O-line? Do you see anybody that have made significant growth, and do you see anybody that's taken significant steps back?
Well, I don't know about necessarily steps back, and it's so tough to tell. Like I try to explain to people with these practices, man, and anybody that's been out there, maybe when you're saying it once, it's kind of hard for it to correlate, but it's very scripted. And so you don't get, it's very tough to kind of tell, especially in the trenches, who's not looking good or who's looking bad necessarily on a day-to-day basis. When the pads come on, sure, you can tell when an O-lineman is consistently getting beat. You can tell when an edge guy is consistently getting in the backfield. But a lot of these days, they don't have pads on. So it's tough to kind of evaluate the offensive line and the defensive line, for that matter, on those types of days. That's why I always say these preseason games, these guys that are going to play in the preseason games, that's where you'll really be able to see, all right, where are they at? But I'll say this. I think, especially coming off of yesterday in the joint practice, I thought the starting offensive line has been fine, and having Lamar and Derrick Henry in your backfield helps elevate you to a degree. But I think for them as a unit yesterday specifically, I thought they looked good. I didn't see, and I tried to specifically pay attention Lele, especially when he's matched up against guys like DeForest Buckner over there.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I want to see how he holds up. And I thought they did a good job. The only sacks I saw on the first team, I saw a coverage sack that was given up by Stanley, but really I can't even put that on Stanley. He won. You can only hold the ball but for so long.
Okay.
And Lamar didn't, he didn't look to get out of the pocket. He stayed in the pocket, which typically isn't going to happen in that case. So I don't really evaluate that as a loss for them. I did see Voorhees whiff on one yesterday. I didn't get to see the number that he was going against, but he whiffed right off the line. That wasn't good. So that usually results in trouble.
I'm sorry. It's the way you said he just whiffed right off the line.
Yeah, I mean, that's immediate loss at the snap. That's never good. But, with Lele, I think overall he has been good enough from what I watched in camp. I haven't seen too many reps where it's just like, that just looks bad. Other than when he gets tired, and I keep saying it's when when the fatigue sets in with him, that's when you start to get him being lazy with his fundamentals, him trying to just fall on guys or lean on guys, and he's not firing out of his stance. He's not strong with his base. That's where he gets into trouble. And he struggled with the heat at times throughout practice. And I guess my concern is, even whether it's September or even December when it's cold, it's still hot for those guys because of how much they're moving and what they're having to do out there. Like, what happens if the Ravens have one of those vintage 10 to 12 play drives? Like, can you depend on this dude to hold his weight, to be able to do his part? And that's still the question mark I have for him. But when fatigue isn't an issue, he's usually solid. I still think you're going to get a mixed bag in terms of reps. If you're going to specifically watch Daniel Lele reps on the all 22s after these games, you're going to see some bad plays. You're going to see some really strong plays. That's just where he is. He's, everybody isn't an all pro. And it's very rare you get all five guys to stand up. I've seen Roger Rosengarten get beat a couple of times in practice. He struggled with the penalties, but that doesn't mean that I don't think he's going to be a good player. I still think Roger Rosengarten is pretty good. So I think as a unit on this offensive line, they'll be fine. Voorhees, that's the guy that the concern people have for Lele is probably the concern I have for a guy like Voorhees. Okay. He's the one that lost his job last year, not Lele. And even when Voorhees got hurt or got healthy, he didn't get his job back. So that's the one that I would implore fans to pay more attention to. I know Lele can kind of be goofy sometimes, and he's the big guy that doesn't look athletic, but Voorhees looks the part, but at times he's the one that I think struggles the most with consistently putting out good tape.
You said specifically that you're not seeing too many or you're not looking at too many reps because they don't got pads on. From what you've seen thus far for pass rushers, where I'm going with this. Mike Green is because look, man, when we got him, because I was not liking the draft. I'm honest. I wasn't big on the draft. I like Malachi Starks. I thought he was good, but I wasn't big on the draft till we got Mike Green. And I was like, Mike Green, oh my God, we actually got this guy. And I was through the roof. I was like, this saved for me the draft. What have you seen from him? And has he looked like he could deliver the goods?
Oh, definitely. I mean, every time he's put the pads on, this dude, he shows up. I don't really have many knocks on him. In fact, I'm trying to hold back on how much praise I give him in case he doesn't come out and light the world on fire. But I can only go off of what I've seen. And every time they put the pads on, that dude has been the star of the show, whether it's the stadium practice, whether it's been their, inner squad practices, just the Ravens themselves with the pads on. Even yesterday at the joint practice, he had multiple sacks and multiple plays in the backfield. So I think Mike Green is going to be a dog. Honestly, I'm excited to see him tomorrow night. And because I've already seen him win early in his reps. I've seen his arsenal of moves. I've seen the drive that he has. Now I want to see, can he finish the play? because there are guys people used to get on Jadeveon Clowney for being the almost sack guy.
Yeah.
And we know Green has, led the nation in sacks last year, but it's a different beast doing it at this level. So
Yeah.
that's the next step for him. I want to see him get to the quarterback and finish these plays. I want to see him get some of these tackles for loss that I'm assuming he'll get when I'm watching these plays in practice that he can't actually finish. That's the next step for him. If he can do that in these preseason games, then I really think that'll be a huge momentum boost for him going into the season.
Opposite of Mike Green, of course, we have Mr. Oweh, who is fighting for his big, massive payday. Have you seen anything that would warrant him to have a big year this year, or has he not been as, highlight ridden in training camp thus far?
Yeah, I think Oweh is a guy that he's a true veteran now. That's what I look at when I see Odafe Oweh. When I hear him talk, I get a guy that understands the NFL now. He understands the game. And I think coming off of a career year last year,
Yeah.
maybe it's slowing down a little bit for him. He's figuring it out. He's obviously put on some muscle. He looks the part. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I don't think always a guy that when I'm watching his reps in practice, I don't think I think I get the sense he's working on stuff. Like Mike, when I watch Mike, I feel like Mike is actively trying to get there to the quarterback. And I think Oweh, this is his 5th year.
Yeah.
I think he understands the way that training camp works. He's not necessarily trying to impress the coaches that already knows who he is and what he can do. I think he's just really working on stuff. So I see him usually trying different moves and all of that. Not to say he's not beating his guys at times, he is. But I think he knows he can't hit Lamar. So I think he's kind of playing his own game when I watch him out there.
Okay.
But I'm curious to see Oweh in the regular season games. I'm curious to see if he can build on last year. Does he have another double-digit sack year? Does it even have to be? Like, I would take 9 sacks from Oweh if that means Mike Green, because Mike Green will probably be a part of that. Van Noy, all these other guys. I think Matabike is really in store for a good year. And Travis Jones as well. So there are a lot of people that are a part of that pass rush group. I do want to see what Oweh does bring. I'm looking for him to be more consistent. I'm looking for him to make some of those game-changing plays he made in his rookie year. I still remember some of the strip sacks that he had early in the season, the fumbles that he caused early in the season to win games in his rookie year. I want to see him get back to making some of those impact plays and being more consistent.
Okay, because and pass rushers, everybody has so many questions because trenches have been, to me, and to a lot of Raven fans or fandom, a big Achilles heel in close, situations. The most important situations like playoffs and stuff like that, you'll see inconsistent pass rush or inconsistent pressure, constant pressure on the quarterback. There's other guys that, of course, on the pass rushing that people have been worried about, like Adisa Isaac. What have you seen from him? And also Ajabo. Do you think he even makes the team this year? And if he doesn't make it, do you think we bring in a veteran like a Judon or a Clowney?
Yeah, I think, first with Adisa Isaac, I think he's still a work in progress. He is.
Okay.
I think he's understandably behind because his rookie season was basically a redshirt year. And you bring him back now, and I think he's still getting his feet wet, still learning on the fly. I still see a raw prospect with him, honestly. And not to say that he can't be something. I think right now he's just not able to show it on a consistent basis, at least. Definitely not in practice.
Okay.
But he's still a big guy. I mean, he's got the size, and I'm sure there are things about him that they like. They just haven't been able to get that out of him just yet.
Gotcha.
Ajabo, I think the preseason games are going to weigh heavily with David Ajabo. Like, he has to be able to beat these backups, these third string guys, these guys that won't make the team in these preseason games if he's going to make this roster. And I think that's what they're waiting to see in terms of if they need to go bring in a veteran. I think a lot of that weighs in on Adisa Isaac, who to this point, I would say if you're going off what he's showing you, probably go get a veteran. But I think David Ajabo is also a part of that. And if Ajabo looks the part in the games, then maybe he does make the back end of the roster and they don't go the veteran route. But I haven't necessarily seen him flash to me a whole lot in these practices. He looks the part too. I talked about Oweh. I think Ajabo has done really good things in terms of getting in physical shape. He definitely looks like a monster, but it's about showing it. And I still think he comes out a little too high out of his stance at times. He doesn't have that he likes to do this spin move that doesn't really get him anywhere. I just don't think he has learned how to, beat these tackles in this league.
Out leverage the tackles.
Yeah, I just think that's what he's still working on. So maybe the game will bring something out of him that practice doesn't. But to this point, I would say I probably think that they'll go get a veteran based off of what I've seen from those two guys.
Now, usually it's always professional when it comes to you. You already know that because of your standing with the Ravens being a beat writer. Which one of the veterans would you personally like for the Ravens to get?
I would probably go Clowney just because Judon the last few years haven't been great for him. I don't even know what his relationship status is with the team at this point. Not to say it's terrible to the point he can't come back. I don't think it's there, but I don't know. And I know Judon has ties to the area. I know his family's in the area still, so I wouldn't put it past him. But for me, I would probably go Clowney just because Clowney at least is the workhorse. Like Judon is the numbers guy. Clowney is the wreck havoc guy. And I would probably prefer the guy that's going to cause chaos because I have a stable of other guys that I feel like can get after the quarterback too. If you add in a guy like Clowney that collapses the line, that at one point was the last time he was here in Baltimore, he was demanding double teams. Like if you can get a guy like that right now, that'll definitely open it up for everybody else. So I think Clowney kind of fits in more with the stable of pass rushers that they already have, as opposed to Judon. He is the sack guy. I don't think they need a guy that's a sack guy that hasn't even been getting sacks the last couple of years. If we're being honest, Judon has struggled to get to the quarterback. But I think Clowney, if you bring him back, if he wants to come back, I think he'd fit in well with the group that they have.
Yeah, you and Ing. So it was like me and Coach from Sip the Tally Films. We were big on Judon. I just you'd already know. Like I got love for Judon. And there's that. Yeah, he just, to me, when you look at a guy that screams Ravens, he screams Ravens. Clowney, of course, we'd be happy with Clowney too. But Ing was really big on Clowney. And so that's why you're really standing up on the Ing. Last couple questions because I want to get you out of here on time. Referees and late calls. Now, yesterday, there was a picture of Lamar talking to the referee, and he addressed it in the presser, saying how he was talking about what happened in the Cleveland game when the guy pretty much tried to, I don't want to paraphrase, but Liu Kang dragon kick him while he was running with the ball, and no flag, as of usual, was called. What is your take on the referees when they are officiating the Ravens and specifically officiating Lamar Jackson?
Well, I think it's very tough. It seems like for them to officiate Lamar because of how good he is in the open field with the ball in his hands. I equate it to kind of like the Shaq treatment. Like Shaq used to get hot, but the refs wouldn't call it because he's so big. And it's like the same with LeBron for a while early in his career. Yeah. And I think with Lamar, they kind of get all caught up in, well, he's Lamar. He's making guys miss. He usually avoids hits. And then when you see him get hit, that should still be a flag. A late hit is a late hit. I mean, I don't understand it, but it's clear that the league makes more of an emphasis to protect pocket quarterbacks than the mobile quarterbacks. I don't know why that is, especially considering Lamar has the name that he has in the league. He's one of the most popular athletes in the world, I would say. I am surprised that he doesn't get more calls.
I was going to say, because even that term, mobile quarterback, all like 90% of the quarterbacks now are mobile quarterbacks. When you look at Kyler Murray, you look at Lamar Jackson, you look at Josh Allen, you look at even Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, they're all mobile quarterbacks. Even if you say I think the only ones that are statuesque now are Stafford and Goff, right? Everybody else can get to boogieing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Patrick Mahomes. Why do you think it's just always Lamar that? Because even they said Josh Allen, who is a known habitual runner of the ball, he takes pride in getting the tush, push, and other things. Why do you think it is Lamar that is so emphasized on the non-emphasis on him getting calls?
I wish I knew. I think a part of it also, and I've always given Lamar credit for this, Lamar knows how to finish runs. He's one of the few quarterbacks that you see that he very rarely falls on his back. Lamar usually ends up going forward somehow. So a lot of quarterbacks know how to embellish some of those hits, and Lamar doesn't do that. He doesn't do the flop, and he doesn't over exaggerate when he gets hits. And sometimes that alone will get you some calls. I wish I knew, though, honestly. Like, I don't want to place a stigma on them that may not be true, but it's clear that they have missed multiple calls when it comes to Lamar Jackson that other quarterbacks get. Without a doubt, that's happened, and I've seen them, and some have been egregious, and he doesn't get those calls. I don't know why. And Lamar, maybe he doesn't chirp enough to the refs. You know, maybe that's one of the things. Very rarely do you see Lamar go and really have those conversations with the refs the way that Tom Brady used to, the way that Mahomes will do right now.
Or Josh Allen.
Josh out, all of them. Like, he kind of just takes it and he just goes back to the huddle. He goes to the sideline and he moves on to the next play. Maybe he needs to start working the refs a little bit. And I'm not blaming him. I'm just trying to think of a solution. But maybe that's something that he should do. Or maybe Harbs needs to be a little more hard on these refs on the sideline when he's not getting those calls.
I want him. Listen, I know you be seeing Lamar more. I mean, I've gotten to interview him, and that was an amazing opportunity to interview Lamar Jackson. But if you see him, make sure you tell him to do what 50 Cent taught him to do. Put on that acting. Put on his acting cap. James Harden. I mean, I need an Oscar because these calls, I mean, you've seen it even versus the Colts when they try to twist his leg, and the ref's like, "Oh, you're all right." And I'm looking at, and you see, you know, I know it's the Florida boy in him, like, you know what I'm saying? Because in Florida, a lot of these guys, it's masculinity. Like, they're not trying to, if it's not hurting, it's like, yo, get up. You know what I'm saying? You tough it out. You don't go crying about everything. You work hard. Like, you know, oh, yo, that hurt. Nah, you sucked it up and you keep moving. I feel like that's a big part of what makes Lamar Jackson. But in today's game, that so many guys now, almost like basketball, are trying to overemphasize and trying to play and get these calls. That's not the way he's ever been built. So he doesn't seem to get it because of the lack of the acting. Last question for you, because I know you got to go and I don't want to take up any more of your time. Once again, thank you for being here. Sure. I want to ask a question for you because you are in the media. The media narrative surrounding the Ravens. And this is like a Lamar, John Harbaugh, EDC question. They get so much flack in the media, specifically Lamar. As you as being a media guy, why is it that the narrative around Lamar is always so negative? And why do you think so many people put so much emphasis and under fire for the Baltimore Ravens as an organization?
When you talk about Lamar, you talking about like these lists that they put together and stuff, like, is that what you mean? Or you mean
overall, like media pundits? I mean, first
take stuff.
Yeah, like, you know, the playoff narratives with like Ryan Clark, Nick Wright, all of these guys that continually day in, day out have his name on a constant rotation. Why is it always seen that the negative is what they expound upon? You know what I'm saying? From your perspective.
So I remember when Odell Beckham was here, and I had a really good conversation with him, and we talked about a variety of things. But one of the things that he had mentioned was how his name is always brought up on like ESPN and all that stuff, and they always, talking about him, and people think, it's him. Like he doesn't force these people to talk about him, but they talk about him because they know it brings ratings, it brings attention. And
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with Lamar, but specifically negative. Nobody reacts to the positive stories. You don't get those same reactions to positive stories. You only get it when you stir people up.
Okay.
And Ravens flock gets stirred up pretty easily when it comes to Lamar.
We don't play when it comes to L. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. We don't play when it comes to L.
Look, everybody knows, people that know me long enough know I'm a Commanders guy. I'm the same way when it comes to Jada. I mean, when you have a good quarterback like that, the fans get very protective of him. So I think that's kind of the easy answer. They know it'll drive their numbers up. They know if they put out these lists, they know if they have these segments about, Lamar failing in the playoffs and all this and that, they know if they post that video, they'll get a bunch of Ravens fans in the comments, quote tweeting it, sharing it, discussing it on shows, podcasts, whatever the case is, because now they're all riled up. It's the layup. It's the get out of jail free card anytime they need a segment. So that's what they use that as. And I think also some of it is, especially when I think, this is my own personal opinion, when it comes to these lists, I think, and you have all these no-name executives that don't want to put their names to stuff, and all these scouts. I always go back to this one from a couple of years ago where there was an anonymous exec that said, it doesn't matter how many MVPs Lamar wins, they'll never view him as a top quarterback. That's just hate.
Bruh,
that right there is just hate.
You can see it.
It screams of just jealousy. And it was a lot of loud people that you don't hear from anymore that trashed him during draft season, that wanted him to switch positions. They trashed him in his rookie year after they lost to the Chargers. They trashed him in 19 when they lose to the Titans. They come out the woodworks when he fails. But I think a lot of it is just they're upset that they were proven wrong. I've been one of the biggest Lamar advocates since college, and I didn't see Lamar getting to be this good. I mean, he has blown everybody away with how good he has gotten and how he keeps getting better. Every year you think this is the best version of Lamar, he finds a way to just blow that out of the water. And so I think they just can't accept being wrong. They couldn't be ahead of the curve. Lamar is cut from a different cloth. He started a different era of quarterbacks.
Era 8.
And they're upset that they didn't see this coming. They're supposed to be the professionals. They're supposed to be the experts. They're supposed to have the scouting eye, and yet they missed one of the biggest gems to come out of college football. They can't. That's a tough pill to swallow. And so they're gone now. And now those people that were showing their face and were putting a name to those comments, they've now become anonymous sources. They've now become anonymous scouts and anonymous executives because they can't show their face and put their name to anything anymore because they're losing credibility. And if you can't even be a guy that initially doubted Lamar, and then now you see the growth of his career and come around and say, you know what, this dude works. This dude is blown. He has skyrocketed past all these levels, and you still can't give him credit. Then that's on you. I hate that wins losses have become a quarterback stat. because now as soon as a team loses in the postseason, you go straight to the quarterback. And I'm not saying Lamar has been perfect in these games. He hasn't.
Yeah.
But I watched them trash him, but then I watched them pat Josh Allen on the back for losing to losing to Patrick Mahomes every year
baby.
in the playoffs.
Poor baby. Yeah,
Joe
I know.
Burrow on the back for losing. He made it to the Super Bowl. I'll give him that, and I think the world of Joe Burrow. But they celebrate losing for these other quarterbacks.
Yes.
But for Lamar, if he doesn't win it all,
it's the nail in the hand.
He is a loser. It does. The two don't correlate.
Yeah. Listen, man, I wanted to ask you that because, constantly as a Raven fan, you watch. I always call myself a counterbalance because there's so much of it, right? No quarterback, no player's perfect. But when you see the ascension of a guy that does nothing but work, he makes no excuses. He goes out there, he puts in the time, he puts in the effort. And on top of all of that, he is an active member in multiple different communities to uplift not only the minds, but the youth, and you just see the hate pieces like, oh, we don't care about your MVPs. Yeah, we don't care about your all pros. It just lends a level of disrespect that I've never seen levied at a player, at least in my time of watching football. You know what I'm saying? And I really wanted to get your take specifically on that. Last but not least, I know we went a little over time, but before you go, I wanted to ask you, where do you see the Ravens finishing this year, record-wise? And for the Commander fans, how well do you think your team finishes up this year?
Well, look, the Commanders go to the NFC Championship game last year for the first time since 92.
Yeah. So I know you was happy. You was like, ooh.
Oh yeah. By that point, I'm done working. So I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan at that point. So yeah, I was going crazy in here. But yeah, I think they should be a playoff team. They got to get this Terry McLaurin stuff taken care of. It's a shame it's gotten to this point.
Yeah.
It's just disgraceful, honestly, that they haven't taken care of him. But hopefully that gets taken care of. But they should at least be a playoff team. I don't know if they'll get back to the conference championship game, but they should definitely be a contender there. And Jaden is as good as anybody. So that's the sky's the limit. And look, anybody that's watched enough Lamar Jackson press conferences, you've seen when he's asked about players, he gives nothing. He continuously says he doesn't have a relationship with these players. He doesn't even watch football. Lamar does not watch NFL games. I've talked to him on the side about that. He doesn't watch NFL games.
He just watch comedies and stuff.
The film that he has to see.
Yeah.
But he doesn't give you anything when you ask about other players in the league. You ask him about Jaden Daniels, he'll go on forever. He loves Jaden Daniels. Loves Jaden.
I like that. That's a
but
gem.
In terms of the Ravens, the Ravens will sleepwalk their way to double-digit wins in the regular season. That's how it goes. I find it tough to see a scenario outside of them just being rattled with injuries, where they can't be the winner in this division again. I see them head and shoulders better than everybody in this division. I do think Pittsburgh will be tougher than a lot of people have given them credit for.
Me too.
I see them still flaming out in a wild card. Like, I don't think they'll win a playoff game, but I don't think their offense will just completely disappear in December the way that it did last year. And that really hurt their defense, which was elite up until that point. So they'll be better, but how much better, I can't tell you. But yeah, I think the Ravens win the division. I think they're a playoff team. Like, I picked them to win the last 2 Super Bowls and I've been wrong. So I don't want to do that again, but
third time's the charm.
That's what they say. That's what they say. They should get to the AFC Championship game. Okay. Until somebody beats Patrick Mahomes in the AFC, though, I can't put that in ink. I can't put anybody in the Super Bowl besides the Chiefs right now until I see another AFC team beat them. That's just where it is. But the Ravens should be in the conference championship game, and we'll see what happens from there.
All right. Mr. Cordell Woodland, thank you so much for coming on. It was an honor to have you on here. I mean, this is an absolute amazing interview. Do you have anything to say to the people before you leave?
Yeah, man. Just appreciate everybody that tunes into the videos and stuff that I put out, tune into my show that's just been following me. Really appreciate it. Like I said, I'll be filling in tomorrow morning on the Big Bad Morning Show from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So all you guys is getting up early, especially first preseason game. We'll be talking a lot of Ravens, I'm sure. So definitely you could tune into that on 105.7 The Fan or on the Odyssey app. If you have that, me and my co-host Ben Hall, we typically do a show Thursday nights on The Fan, which you can also hear on the Odyssey app as well. I'll continue to have all the coverage throughout the season and everything. So yeah, man, just appreciate everybody's support.
Hey, man, thank you so much for coming in. God bless. You stay safe out there. Please do not stop giving us the updates. We love them. We really do. Listen, that's money for me, babe. I'll be like, Monday, every time we come up here, what Cordell saying today? You know what I'm saying? So please keep doing you, keep grinding, man, keep growing. God bless and keep shooting for the stars, man.
Yeah, seriously. Appreciate it, man. Same to you.
All right, thank you so much for being here, man. To everybody, Cordell Woodland. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Guys, listen, what an amazing time to be a Wunderkind Morning Show subscriber. Absolutely. I mean, just an amazing, amazing interview, guys. Thanks for all the love. Thank you for all the support. We're going to end it now. Once again, if you guys have not already have done so, please remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please go out there too. If you're on Twitter and stuff like that, subscribe to Cordell Woodland. You know, he puts out a lot of work, a lot of time into what he does, and it helps. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it not only helps his fans, it helps his content creators, because he really does gives us insight to places where we're not allowed to be. You know what I mean? Being the eyes and the ears and everything else. So shout outs to him for everything that he does. Shout outs to everyone that's made this work. Shout outs to Coach Sip Tally, you already know, helping me get this on. Raven, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to all you guys. Let's keep growing, guys. And that's another episode of the Wunderkind Morning Show. You'll be seeing clips of this hitting your screen very soon. I love each and every one of you. Please remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We got over 100 people in here. Please remember to like the stream. Please. It is very imperative to growing the channel. And I love you guys. And we are out of here, man. Peace. And y'all know my slogan. I'm out, guys. Yeah!